Hey guys, my name is Nod Lammers of Invoked 101. This is Nubbins. He's the new member of our channel. But today, other than Nubbins, we're doing a deck profile. A deck that I've been working on in secret for some time. This is, and right now it looks just like I had Dark Magician right here, but I don't. I actually have a super special tech choice in Dark Magicians. And this isn't a competitive build. I actually slapped this build together fairly haphazardly, so don't take this as like, oh my god, this is the best version of Dark Magicians, but this is just a way to play Dark Magicians to get people thinking. And someone probably has thought about this before, but I thought about it and I was like, it's my idea now, I claim all rights to it. So we're gonna talk about the monster lineup, which will probably give away what I'm doing with this deck. And yeah, well actually, you know what, the description, the title probably gave it away. Yeah, this is Arcanite Dark Magicians. So there we go. And so the main concept of this deck is that you use Destrudo to make Arcanite Magician, who is a light spellcaster, but he is level 7, so you can overlay him with Dark Magicians. And because of all the other options in the deck, like Magician's Rod and Apprentice Illusion and Blue Boy, making Arcanite is pretty easy as long as you have a way to get him in the graveyard or have him in your hand. But without further ado, I'm gonna talk about the monster lineup. So, of course, 3 Dark Magician, can't really go wrong with playing 3 of this because it still is a Dark Magician deck, just with a small tech choice into it. So he doesn't really do anything, he is just the main part of the deck. He just activates and resolves all our stuff. 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician, you guys know what this card does. Searches Dark Magician, special summons itself. Yeah, and then is a Honest, so pretty cool card. I'm kind of going to fly through this. I've done like 4 Dark Magician deck profiles. I've had people guest upload Dark Magicians on my channel, so I'm just going to kind of go through this deck pretty quick. 3 Magician's Rod searches a spell or trap that specifically says Dark Magician on it and then can also recycle itself. Still wish I had supers though. 2 Dark Illusion Magician. Dark Illusion Magician is pretty cool. Just summons itself whenever you activate a spell or trap on your opponent's turn. And then can kind of be like a Pot of Greed if you use it with Spellbook of Knowledge and Dark Magician. Pretty dope. 1 Blue Boy to search the spellbook stuff. 1 Cosmo Brain because he was a card I didn't cut out. And then lastly, 2 Destrudo. So Destrudo is pretty dope in this deck. Actually, you know what, Cosmo Brain, don't play Cosmo Brain. Play 1 Chocolate Magician because she's another level 7 or level 6 or lower monster, so play 1 Chocolate Magician. Anyway, talking about Destrudo. So the way that I added Destrudo into the deck is I added only 2 copies of Destrudo. I think that if you add a 3rd one, then you become a little crazy and you're gonna see him too many times in the duel. You only really want to see Arcanite Magician once, and then you want to turn him into an Xyz. So to support our Destrudo plays, I've also supplemented it with 2 Dragon Ravine to get him in the graveyard as quickly as possible, and also maybe to load up a Dark Magician in the grave. 2 Dragon Shrine, again, just for Destrudo, and then 2 Terraform, because we want to see a way to get Destrudo into the graveyard as quick as possible. That's the whole gist of this deck. And this deck is pretty close to my last deck profile. It's not super different. So the cards I've cut are Cosmo Brain from the last one, the Magical Dimensions from the last one, the Dark Magic Attack, 2 Chocolate Magicians. I think that if you keep the 1 in, then you still have a pretty decent Destrudo target, and then the Dark Magic Veils. So I've cut that stuff from the deck to add in the Destrudo, to add in the ability to summon Arcanite. And it sounds like I'm sacrificing originally I was looking at it, I was like, I'm sacrificing a lot just for this 1 extra deck monster. And then I realized, no, like a lot of these cards don't do too much anymore. So cutting them from the deck completely doesn't hurt like at all for Destrudo. But yeah, so that's why Destrudo's in the deck. That's why Arcanite is in the deck. We already talked about the spell cards for Destrudo, so let's talk about the lineup for Dark Magician. Pretty standard stuff. The 3 Dark Magic Circles, 2 Knowledge, and 2 secrets. This is the draw engine of the deck, just insane in any spellcaster deck. 2 inheritance. This card is pretty cool. It searches. It's like a spell card version of Blue Boy, not Blue Boy, of Magician's Rod. So if you have Spellbook of Knowledge, Spellbook of Secrets, and Blue Boy, you use both, get rid of Blue Boy, and then you activate this to search a Dark Magician spell or trap. So probably like Circle. 1 illusion magic, searches Dark Magician, or grabs him out of the graveyard. I didn't know he could grab out of the graveyard, but found that out. 1 Timaeus. I don't think Eye of Timaeus is super great. Like the fusion monsters are pretty cool, but the only thing I would bump this up to is like maybe 2. I like it at 1. I see it enough times for it to matter, so. Especially with all the draw power this deck has. 3 duality. This deck is pretty stock standard. I like the 3 dualities. I think some people have phased this out for like desires, but I think the dualities are still fine. That's it for the spells. Traps are 2 navigation. Some people say play 3. I like it at 2. I think that the only reason I play it at 2 is because you need Dark Magician in your hand, and you're not always gonna have him in your hand. So kind of, you know, iffy on that. I like navigation at 2. I see it enough times that, and it's super searchable, so I'm never like, oh my god, I need a navigation now. Like, in 3 Eternal Soul, I think someone said to cut this to 2, and I was like, no, not doing that. But yeah, so 3 Eternal Soul. There we go. That is it for the main deck. I know I'm kind of blowing through this, but I've talked about Dark Magician a lot on this channel, so I'm not gonna talk too much about like what everything does. 1 Dragonite to protect the back row. This guy's crazy. Dark Paladin, just because sometimes you want to make Dark Paladin. And then, so that's it for the fusion guys. Dark Paladin's pretty good against like Blue Eyes, but only Blue Eyes, because he can negate spell cards and he can gain attack for dragons, so they get way big. So that's pretty cool, but usually you're gonna go for Dragonite, because Dragonite is Dark Magician and gains the protection from like Eternal Soul and stuff like that. And then for the Synchro, just 1 Arcanite Magician. Of course you could also run like Dawn Dragster or any other level 7 Synchro monster. The reason that we're using Arcanite Magician is because we're just kind of using him as a spot removal guy. Because your main goal is to be able to get out Arcanite Magician and a Dark Magician. Arcanite will hit the field, he will have 2 spell counters on him, you can pop 2 cards, and then you can turn him with Dark Magician into an Ebon Illusion. And I think that that's the coolest part about Arcanite, is that he fits all the requirements to be part of the Dark Magician archetype aside from being dark. He would be 2400 on the field, but you know, we're gonna drop him back to 400. And yeah, that's the main reason we're running Arcanite. And you can run 2 Arcanites, you can run 3, you can run as whatever level 7 you want, but Arcanite is the one that I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna make a way for Dark Magicians to summon a Synchro monster with Destrudo, it's gonna be the Arcanite Magician, because this is the only deck I think is like, he's worth summoning in that isn't completely dedicated to him. I think this is the best way to play Arcanite. Alright, so aside from that, like I said, Xyz monsters, 2 Ebon Illusion Magicians. This guy is crazy. He summons Dark Magician from hand or deck, and then he also, when Dark Magician declares attack, he gets to banish a card. So that's pretty cool. Rank 3s, because there are some level 3 monsters in here. Phantom Knight Breaksword, he's pretty cool. Rank 4 is Trapeze. This probably shouldn't be in there because I cut all the level 4s. Rank 6 is Naruto, because you can slap this guy on top of Naruto. So that's pretty cool. And you can also slap Gaia Charger on top of him, just if you want. So that's Gaia Charger. And then other 7s are Flare. Flare is pretty cool. Does burn damage. That's about it. Oh, and it can't die by card effect. That's the other thing it does. And then Big Eye, because Big Eye is basically Dark Magician. Like it's a dark spellcaster. It actually works with the Apprentice Illusion, so that's crazy. And then links, I only have 1 link monster in here, and that's Deco Talker. I just had I don't even know if this goes with this deck. So, because Dark Magician was just kind of in another box, and it just happened to have the Deco Talker, and I was like, oh, I guess it's part of the Dark Magician deck. So yeah, that is actually it for the Arcanite Dark Magicians. I know this deck I did this pretty quick, and I sound kind of like meh, but I really wanted to show off this build. I think this is a really cool, interesting way to play Dark Magicians. I personally am not going to keep it this way. I think that this Dark Magician variant is not as strong as the pure Dark Magician, just like the standard one. So that's, and which is why it hasn't seen play, is because, you know, it'd be slightly more inconsistent. There's the Dragon Shrines without too many targets. I guess you could put Keeper of Dragonic Magic in here and give yourself a few more targets and some polymerizations. That could work as well, but I don't have any Keeper of Dragonic Magic, so I don't play it. I also don't think it's as good in, like, I don't like that build as much, so that's the main reason I don't play it. But yeah, I think that this is interesting, and I want to tinker with it a little bit more, but at the same time, not really. Just not a fan of how this would play. I don't think it'd be super consistent. So that's really it. Of course, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. While you're down there, feel free to look in our description. Our Patreon is in there, and just anything from that would help us out. We have many different tiers for you guys to interact with us with. So check out our Patreon. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.